Hey folks, Craig Hawk, Small Fry Aquatics. Well, welcome to the first video from Small Fry in 2020. You're going to notice some changes here. One of the first ones is that I am not going to try and be doing all this fancy pants video stuff of, fade ins, fade outs, and, special effects. And to be honest, I've started to find out you guys really don't care about getting a Netflix sort of cinematic video. You just want information, you want it fast, you want me to get in and get out. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, look at what's in front of you. This is a reverse osmosis unit, but I'm going to tell you it is a whole lot more than just that. And if it was only reverse osmosis, I wouldn't have put it in. But let me talk you through what's here. You've got one, and I got my PVC pointer here, so you know I'm doing this professionally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 filters. Here's one reverse osmosis membrane. Here's a second reverse osmosis membrane. Here's a few of the quick questions up front. Why on earth, Craig, would you go through this? Why on earth would you put all this stuff in and all of this expense? This unit will filter out literally all the, what I'm going to call badness from my water, and leave behind clean, unadulterated water. The thing to know is it's also going to take out all the minerals from the water. In my particular case, I can mix in 25% tap water and get all the minerals that I need. Your mileage may vary, and you're going to have to do some science, and in coming videos I'm going to help you do that science. But let's talk through what's in front of us. This is a sediment filter right here. This takes out a myriad of different okay, I'm sorry I had to stop the video because I wanted to really look at the sediment filter and make sure that I knew what I was talking about. Now the sediment filter is on the far right there, and what it does is it filters out microparticle, well certainly macro particles, but microparticles as well. Now I've only run maybe 200 gallons through this, so you would really have to get up here close on it and put on your reading glasses to actually see the pieces that have come out. But the interesting part is you can see the pieces that have come out. So I thought that was real interesting and quite frankly very worthwhile, and part of the reason that I got reverse osmosis. So again, most people when they buy RO or reverse osmosis systems want to lower their TDS. We're going to talk about TDS in a couple of minutes, but briefly, TDS stands for total dissolved solids. It could be, and it's usually thought of as all the quote badness in your water, but it doesn't have to be that. There can be some good stuff in there too, things that you want. But I guess I would go to as far as to say about 80% of the things that are in your water you probably don't want. 20% you probably do. So this whole system's taken out the whole shooting match, but we'll talk about that in a minute. All right. So the sediment filter takes out the big stuff and the little stuff down to a couple hundred microns. The carbon filter, here's a list from the website of things that it removes. Chlorine, and the one to the left actually does chloridamide, which most carbon block filters won't do. I really wanted to make sure chloridamides were taken out. So you have chlorine that they put in so that your drinking water doesn't kill you. And they put in chloridamides to filter out or to kill off some of the other quote badness in your drinking water that chlorine doesn't do. You might not have chloridamides. I do. That's why I had to do this. So anyway, the first and second carbon filters do chlorine, chlorine byproducts, pesticides, herbicides, nitrate, PFOS, which is a synthetic chemical that you find in repellents and insecticides, stuff like that. It'll remove phosphates, lithium, pharmaceuticals, microplastics, and then I'm going to go through here, lead, zinc, copper, heavy metals such as mercuries, nitrates, arsenics, asbestos, I mean, a whole 9 yards, fluoride. That's why I did it. Now, the 2 filters on the left, I did not need them, should not have bought them, paid for things I will never use. But those are DI resin filters that would be wonderful if you had shrimp. Then you absolutely want to get those and use those. But within my videos, I don't do shrimp and I don't do salt. That's the other reason you would want them. And you probably need to search for somebody else to give you sage wisdom about that. The reason I am doing this video is because the videos that I find out there on the old interwebs, so to speak, just don't answer the questions that I wanted asked. In other words, everyone goes, ooh, it's, you know, reverse osmosis. And I'm thinking, oh, it's magic water, you know? I've already tried to buy magic beans and a beanstalk didn't grow in my backyard. So now I got magic water. Well, it is actually working. And in a couple of seconds, I'm going to show you how and why. But the last pieces here are the reverse osmosis membranes that are up on top. I lost my little piece of PVC because I got my iPad. There's one there and one there. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Didn't even know I left, did you? All right. If you have one of these DI elements, one of these membranes in, your system is capable of putting out 100 gallons per day. Not a tremendous amount. If you add a second one and you put it in series, you can get 200 gallons per day, but you have to have enough water pressure. That's what that little guy's telling me right there, to get it through. Otherwise, you have to put them in parallel. So there's a lot that's going on there. Here's another thing I really, really want you to know. I knew going into this, but you need to know because this is really expensive. Here's the water that comes in here, black. Come on, camera. This black line, this is from my this is tap water that comes actually from my sink, through a garden hose from one end of my basement to the other fish room, that basement, and then goes in here. We'll talk about the mechanics of this at a different date. But here's one thing to remember. This blue line is where the good water comes out, okay? Yellow line is where all the filtered badness goes, and it goes away, which means for every gallon of water that you run through here, you get about a half a gallon of good water and a half a gallon of bad water. So you're throwing water away. I don't know any way around that yet, but that's what we've got. Now in the next video, I'm going to get through the minutia of how all this stuff works and how it's hooked up, but I wanted to give you an overview of how and why I did this. So here's a couple of the upsides, and then I'm going to just start walking around the fish room and showing you. The first thing is the fish absolutely love the lower TDS, the softness of the water. I'm getting spawns that I have not had before. But the most miraculous thing, in my opinion, is the clarity of the water. There are no suspended particles in there of any kind. Now, will there be because of plants and fish? Yeah, sure, it comes back, but with water changes, it goes out again. With tap water, I would never get rid of those suspended particles unless I did extreme filtration, which I do. As we go from tank to tank, you're going to see that I use sponge filters, I use box filters, I use hang-on back filters, and I also have canister filters because I am a pleco keeper, and if plecos know how to do one thing, it's make a lot of waste. So hang on, I'm going to turn the camera off, reposition, and let's see if we can't see some of the good effects of the RO water. Okay, let's start with this tank. Nothing really looks bad about it. Got the sponge filter like I talked about. Got the can filter right there. Got the hang-on back over here. I actually just transferred fish out of here today, but you sort of see, well, maybe you can't see that it's cloudy. So maybe let's just say, hey, there's a fish tank. Now I'm going to move you up one tank. Same setup. Can filter here, box filter. Sponge filter, a couple of hang-on back filters. Now do you see the clarity difference? And I should have cleaned the front of the glass and I didn't. But it is remarkably pretty. And these are long-fin blue-eyed ancestors. Let's go back down. A, no RO water, this is all tap. B, 75-25% RO water and tap. Remarkable difference, I think. You can back the video up back and forth if you want to kind of do that. I'm going to see if I can show you a couple of things here. Like I say, the fish love it. Down inside, I'm probably not going to be able to show you. Let me get my finger in here, if I can get it in where the camera is. Okay, this cave right here, doggone it. Try again. Try not to disrupt these guys, but I'm not doing such a good job. Gotta go in this way. Okay, that cave right there has a pair of 333 plecos. He's got her trapped in and has had her trapped in, I'll tell you, about 4 or 5 days. We're gonna see how we go from there. Now, not that this is any kind of magic, but these are long fin albinos. I mean, it's just a herd of eggs. Again, an RO tank, 75-25. There's everybody in there. Let's see. I'm going to turn the camera off because I don't want to bounce you through the fish room. Hang on. We can. Let's look at the 046 zebra tank. These guys have been caving up. The females have been sitting outside. The males are doing their dance. And again, time is part of the formula with zebras, but they definitely need lower TDS water. They need softer water, let me correct that. So what I've managed to do for these guys, I've got their TDS down to 78 right now. Okay folks, so what I'm aiming for in the magic water or the RO, I want the TDS to get down to about 20. In the coming videos, I'm going to explain to you how I did that, because you can't really take a TDS of, I don't know, 100 or 200 and run it down to 20 at once without really shocking the fish. So my intention was to bring it down with 50% water changes. The way to do that, RO math or magic water, and I think I'm going to, from this point forward, just start to call it magic water. Magic water math goes like this. The TDS of the water coming out of the unit is roughly 0. It might be as high as 4 or 5, but let's just call it 0. If what you have in your tank is a TDS of 100, a 50% water change does give you a TDS of 50. And then a 50% water change of that gives you 25. And a 50% water change of that gives you 12.5. So you can see how the first water change is pretty darn significant in TDS reduction, but you get diminishing returns after that, and it gets pretty expensive. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. If you have questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I know I promised you I'd shave the beard this year, but I just didn't. Did trim it up a little bit, got a haircut the other day. First one since May, first beard sort of trimmed since May as well. Again, please subscribe if you're so inclined. Hit the bell notification. It would sure help me. And hit the thumbs up button too, or the thumbs down. I mean, if you hate what I'm doing here, please let me know, and I'll try and do some stuff different. Okay, I guess that's it. I'm going to see you next time. Take care. Bye.